Can you imagine this morning, 2 cruise missiles hit this Freedom Square, dozens of killed ones. This is the price of freedom.
And he happens to be right about
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
cards.
cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think
War
about-
III. And what you're doing is
Imagine sitting in a room with the President of the United States, cameras everywhere, the whole world watching, and in less than 30 minutes, it just falls apart right there on live TV. I mean, this wasn't a press conference. This was a straight-up confrontation, and it happened in the Oval Office of all places. So here's what actually happened. February 28, 2025, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky walks into the White House to sit down with Trump. JD Vance is there too, cameras rolling, everyone's watching, and what was supposed to be a normal diplomatic sit-down turns into something that honestly felt more like an interrogation. By the end of it, Zelensky's shown the door. No deal, no handshake, nothing. After 3 years of support, gone, just like that. So, how did we even get here? And why should you care? Wherever you're watching this from, let's get into it. Okay, rewind. February 2022. Russia invades Ukraine. And I need you to really hear this part. This was not 2 countries fighting. This was 1 country invading another. Period. Putin gave his excuses. NATO's expanding, he says. There's Nazis in the government, he claims. Yeah, none of that held up. Not even close. The real reason? Land, resources, power. It's always one of those 3, isn't it? So the world responds. The US, Europe, a bunch of other countries. Sanctions on Russia. Weapons and money to Ukraine. Nobody sends their own troops in because, well, nobody wants a direct war with a nuclear power. But the support was real, and by late 2022, it actually worked. Ukraine pushed back, but since then, barely any movement. Thousands and thousands of people gone on both sides, and neither side can finish what it started. Then 2024 happens. Trump wins, and on the campaign trail, he makes this massive promise. He says he'll end the entire war in 24 hours, 1 day. That's the claim. So he gets into office, and yeah, he moves fast, just not in the direction anyone in Ukraine was hoping for. Before he's even sat down with Zelensky, his people are already in Saudi Arabia, talking with Russian officials about Ukraine's future. And here's the part that should bother you. Ukraine isn't even in the room. A country's entire future being discussed, without that country there to say a single word. And then, the United Nations vote. This one's wild, honestly. A resolution condemning Russia's invasion comes up. Most of the world supports it or stays neutral, and the United States, for the first time in modern history, votes against it, right next to Russia and North Korea. Just sit with that for a second. America and Russia, same side, against almost everyone else. Okay, now it gets worse. Trump puts a deal on the table, and it's basically, you owe us. In exchange for everything already sent, Ukraine has to hand over 50% of its natural resource, revenue, oil, gas, ports, infrastructure, minerals, half of everything, and no security guarantees attached. None. No promise. Russia won't just come back next year. It's basically pay up or you're on your own. Some major financial outlets didn't even soften it. They called it economic colonization. Others straight up compared it to a mafia shakedown. Pay for protection or else. Zelensky says no. He says he's not going to saddle the next 10 generations of Ukrainians with that kind of debt. And Trump's response? He goes on social media, calls him a dictator, says he won't have a country left if he doesn't move fast. So that's the tension already sitting in the room when Zelensky walks in that day. First 30 minutes, honestly, pretty civil. Then Zelensky asks the one question that
Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy?
matters more than any mineral deal ever could. Can Putin actually be trusted? He points out Russia's already broken ceasefire terms more than 20 times. So if Ukraine just stops fighting now, what's stopping Russia from coming right back in a few years? And Trump, no real answer. Vance jumps in instead, starts talking about diplomacy. Zelensky pushes back, and honestly, fair point, diplomacy doesn't mean a whole lot with a country that keeps breaking its word. And that's when it really goes off the rails. Vance accuses him of being disrespectful disrespectful.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are
President,
not
Mr.
strong,
President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts
In front of the American press, in the president's own office, Trump tells him he's gambling with World War III, says his disrespect.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What are you
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is
The United States. Vance even asks if he's ever thanked the US, which he literally had multiple times in that exact meeting. Then a reporter asks a totally fair question: what happens if Russia breaks the ceasefire again? And Trump's answer is this bizarre hypothetical about a bomb landing on the reporter's own head. I mean, that's not an answer, that's a dodge. Not long after, press gets dismissed, and then Zelensky's basically asked to leave. No deal, no agreement. The dinner the staff prepared for both of them sat there untouched. Afterward, Trump posts that Zelensky wasn't ready for peace. Zelensky responds with what comes off as a pretty pointed, almost sarcastic thank you. And in the days after, France, Germany, the UK, they all come out publicly standing behind him. Now, here's the part one really want you to sit with, because this isn't just a Ukraine story. This is a pattern. Trump's talked about buying Greenland, taking over the Panama Canal, joked about Canada becoming the 51st state. He's even floated buying and owning Gaza for redevelopment while displacing the people who already live there. Analysts have actually started calling this bullying diplomacy, using pressure, economic, political, whatever works to take what you want from smaller countries. And sure, maybe that gets you a quick win here and there, but history's pretty clear on this. Bullying your allies doesn't build loyalty, it builds resentment every single time. And that's exactly what's starting to happen. European countries are openly talking about relying less on the US. Some are even talking about a unified European military. Trust that took 80 years to build is cracking right in front of us. And honestly, this is the part that gets me. When the most powerful country on earth starts treating its alliances like business transactions, when it treats a war-torn country's survival like a bargaining chip, it sends a message to every smaller nation watching. And the message is simple: nobody is safe. Promises don't mean much once they stop being convenient. That should worry all of us, not because of who was right in one meeting, but because of what it tells us about how power is being used on the world stage right now, today. So if you want to understand how we actually got here and where this could be heading next, that's exactly what we're gonna keep digging into on this channel. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.